The pons is a shoe-horse-shaped collection of nerve fibers that is located in the anterior part of the posterior cranial fossa. Posteriorly, it is related to the cerebellum, separated by the fourth ventricle. Inferiorly, it is related to the medulla oblongata, and superiorly, the midbrain lies immediately above the pons. The anterior or ventral surface of the pons is marked by a bulging formed by the transverse pontocerebellar fibers. These fibers measure around 2.5 centimeters in adults. The basilar groove demarcates the midline of the ventral surface and is where the basilar artery is located. The pontomedullary junction is an important anatomical landmark that is defined by the angle between the lower border of the pons and the superior border of the medulla. Several cranial nerves originate from the ventral surface of the pons. Number one is the trigeminal nerve, which originates from the lateral aspect of the mid-pons. Number two is the abducens nerve. The abducens nerve originates from the pontomedullary junction close to the midline. Number three is the facial nerve, which originates from the cerebellopontine angle, which is the more lateral aspect of the pontomedullary junction. And number four is the vestibulocochlear nerve that originates laterally to the facial nerve. The pons is initially related to the cerebellum and is connected to it by the middle cerebellar peduncles. Removal of the cerebellum will reveal the underlying fourth ventricle. The floor of the fourth ventricle is composed of the dorsal surface of pons and the medulla. There are important anatomical landmarks here. Number one is that the medial eminence marks the midline of the floor. Number two, the facial colliculus is the bulging formed by the fibers of the facial nerve looping around the abducens nucleus. Number three is that the stria medullaris of the fourth ventricle is a bundle of nerve fibers crossing transversely from the lateral aspect into the midline. They mark the posterior border between the pons and the medulla. The angle formed at the junction of the pons, medulla, and cerebellum is called the cerebellopontine angle. It is an anatomical landmark. Now, in the cerebellopontine angle, the cerebellar flocculus, the ventricular choroid plexus, and the emerging facial nerve and vestibulocochlear nerve surrounds the lateral apertures of the fourth ventricle.